rookies taking part in the championship this year, James.
Yeah, of course, you got Graham Rahal in the number 2 Medizone car for Newman Haas Lanigan Racing, graduating up from the Atlantic Championship. Robert Dornbos, as you touched on, is a Red Bull Formula 1 driver. Another Atlantic grad from the 06 campaign, the champion, Simone Pagenaud. And then the number 21 car, Neil Yanni, another Red Bull back driver driving for PKV.
Yes, so all sorts of drivers there with from all sorts of different nationalities and with all different backgrounds as well. So it's a great season, I think, in front of us, and a lot of drivers there with a lot of experience in all sorts of different cars. Looking down the order there, we'll come back and get that for you in just a couple of minutes, but certainly a disappointing start to Champ Car Vegas Grand Prix. So here we are, a good crowd on hand here in Las Vegas, the entertainment capital of the world, self-proclaimed. And looking down the order here, some interesting shuffling taking place in the early stages. Of course, it's still Will Power in second place behind Paul Tracy. That change made at the start. Bruno Junqueira, a brilliant getaway for Dale Coyne Racing. He signed that deal just a couple of days before the race, did Bruno, and he's delighted to be in the field. He's driving the Sonny's barbecue car number 19 for Dale Coyne Racing. And Dale, he's only ever had 2 podium finishes in his career as a team owner, which spans way back to 1984 and 289 races. So we'll see what happens there. Derek Walker, we believe, is standing by in pit lane. We'll try and get down and have a word with him. Tagliani then in 4th place, driving now, of course, for the R Sport team, which is an amalgamation of Rocket Sports, which is where it was last year, and the Roo Sport team, which was sold over the winter and now owned by Dan Pettit, who formerly the P of PKV Racing, so all a bit complicated. And then Robert Dornbos in 5th.
Well, I caught up with Derek Walker, and Derek, you weren't happy about the start, were you? I can tell by the look on your face.
Well, now we're second, we should be first, but Paul's a good starter. He's got a lot of experience, and I think he was a little close to the front line there off the mark until the green flag flies, but he's got it. It's a long race, though. We're quite happy where we are.
Well, real quickly, while we have a second, we all want to say happy birthday to you, Derek.
Oh, thank you very much.
62nd birthday today for DW, and he's been a busy boy this morning. He's had fuel cell problems on these cars, well, on all the cars, quite frankly, but particularly on these 2 Team Australia cars this weekend. Both cars were apart between the warm-up and the race, trying to sort out these problems. We may well see some problems during the pit stops. We'll have to wait and see. It's been a long time since Derek has tasted the victory circle. It's been 130 races, in fact, since Gilles de Ferran won at Portland in '99.
And that is Alex Figge, I believe, in the PCM Imperial Capital Bank car. Again, another rookie making his debut. Are we back to, no. Have we gone back to green? We have gone back to green flag racing. I didn't see the flagger waving the green, but they are indeed racing. Paul Tracy leads them into the first corner, still followed by Power and Junqueira.
Yeah, so the field settling down there. Somebody trying to make a pass. I think it was Justin Wilson trying to squeeze past Robert Dornbos. Whether he made it or not, I don't think he did actually, but there is Paul Tracy. 250th Champ Car start for Paul Tracy, the 2003 champion, and now the full course caution is out once again. So that was a bit of a messy restart. Hopefully we're going to get this race underway properly shortly. As you said, that is Alex Figge there, who has spun the car coming out of the exit.
No, this is the entry. This is the entry to the turn 11 chicane. You can see the curves there in the background. Right there. That's so he's actually on the inside of the racing line as they head down into that tunnel. I think as they came down through that chicane, you might get a replay here. Oh no, this is back to the start.
Well, the restart at least, where we weren't sure whether the green was out or not. It didn't appear to be from where we were. They certainly seemed to be racing, and see no change down there as Will Power take a very wide approach to that first turn. Right behind him, the red and white car of Bruno Junqueira, then the black and red car of Robert Dornbos. Behind him, the red and white CDW car of Justin Wilson, and Simon Pagenaud, the second of the Team Australia cars. And Sebastian Bourdais, we hear, has got a puncture. A tire going down, losing some air pressure. Here's a good look at what happened before the green flag. Alex Figge there just caught out by the rest of the pack, slowing down a little bit more than he anticipated, James.
Which car was it he hit there? Could you tell,
yes.
Jeremy?
I think it was probably Matt Halliday, actually, or Ryan, maybe even his teammate Ryan DeYell. It was all very close back there.
I think it very well might have been his teammate. It's very tough to tell from that angle, but
sure whether there was contact or not.
apparently from what we're being told, Sebastian Bourdais has a flat tire and will have to be pitting to get that change. That's going to put him back to the end of the line.
Yeah, and he'd made some good progress on that first lap. I was trying to get to where he was. I think he was in 8th place actually under that caution period, but now he's dropped back a few places, and we're hearing, yeah, there's look at the top of the screen there, just on the left in the top corner. I think that is Sebastian Bourdais' car just coming onto the pit lane. So an unscheduled pit stop, but you never know, this might work out in his favour. I think he started on red tyres, on the option tyres. Yeah, there is Sebastian Bourdais. New colour scheme this year, and new ownership as well. It's now Newman Haas Lanigan Racing. Mike Lanigan there of MyJack fame joining. They're off come the red tyres, and yes, on go the blacks. This could be a very fortuitous pit stop for this man Sebastian Bourdais. We've already talked about it a little bit already. The red tyres are really not lasting very well. The black tyres, a slightly harder compound, are very, very consistent. And this unscheduled pit stop could be a very, very fortuitous move there for Sebastian Bourdais. We'll have to see, a lot to unfold, of course.
Yeah, absolutely. This could really, really play into Sebastian's hands. We got to look for sort of a Denver-esque drive from Sebastian when he came from the back after being spun out in the first corner to come back and win it, of course. So being now back on the blacks, although the red tires are a little bit quicker, as we see Alex Figge pulling out of the pit lane there, he'll have a more consistent tire. So as the reds fall off during this first stint, he might be able to pick off some of the drivers in front of him.
A bit surprised we didn't see more people towards the back of the pack coming in. We have seen a couple of pit stops, however. We've seen Ryan Dalziel also has been on pit lane, we are told. Matt Halliday is back in the fray. Unfortunately, Matt's 3 laps down. Alex Figge also, we believe, is 1 lap down to the field. So 14 cars still on the lead lap. Graham Rahal, of course, the only car out of the race at this stage. And there is one of the crew members having a look over the one of the rear tyres from Sebastian Bourdais' McDonald's car. And there they believe they've pinpointed the cause of that tyre losing air. Yeah,
they found a puncture on it there, and good call from them. Good call from Sebastian to be able to feel it before they got back to green flag racing. And like we said, this could very well come play right into their hands as we see Justin Wilson lining up there. He's a little bit disappointed with his qualifying effort, but he's now found himself up to 6th. He's made up a few spots as we're heading now into that chicane. The pace car will be pulling into the pits this time, and we should be hopefully getting back to some good green flag racing.
Yes, and again, it's not a lapped race, it's a timed race. 1 hour and 45 minutes, so a good hour and a half of racing still to go here this afternoon. And they come through this tunnel here, which is pretty dark underneath there, and they're coming up the hill, over the crest, turning left all the way, accelerating under normal conditions to around about 150 miles an hour by this point. And there goes, poor Tracy drops the hammer, away he goes.
An absolute professional. He kept them very, very, very slow all the way up the hill through the tunnel, and then got on it when he wanted to get a great jump on Willpower. Look at Alex Tagliani looking down the inside of Bruno Junqueira. He will make that stick, and Justin Wilson thinks about going with him, and he got rear-ended there.
He did indeed by, I'm not sure who that was. It might have been Dan Clark who was tucked right in there as well, but it seems to be no harm, no foul for Justin Wilson. He seems to be keeping on going there, but certainly that was a good pass there by Alex Tagliani. Made a great restart, tucked underneath the rear wing of Bruno Junqueira, down to the inside under braking. Good clean pass by Alex Tagliani.
And here we are looking at the CDW car. Justin Wilson, like I said, a little bit disappointed with his qualifying performance, struggling a bit with the car here at the street circuit in Vegas. Great onboards here from his car. We'll be looking at that a bunch of times today.
As you say, that camera breaks up as he goes through the buildings there, but you're right, it is going to be some spectacular footage, I believe, from on board these very pretty DP01 cars. They've, as I say, we've got a few teething problems with them, no doubt. It's really, they haven't done that much running. They've only done 7 days of testing each. Testing is very much restricted these days in Champ Car in order to keep the cost at a sensible level, but at the same time, there's no doubt about it, the teams really haven't put as many miles on these cars as they would have liked.
Coming up to the chicane for the first time under proper green flag conditions. Look at how these guys tackle them. They're being a little bit gentle right now with full fuel loads. Here's a replay of the move with Wilson and Tagliani making that pass. You see Justin go for it and then gets rear-ended there by, looks like one of the Team Minardi USA cars. Dornbos, Robert Dornbos, it looks like, has fallen back, obviously, from his good qualifying position. On board now with Justin. One thing you'll notice this year with the new DP01, the right hand of the drivers no longer coming off the steering wheel, Jeremy. They've gone from a traditional sequential shifter to paddle shift, Formula One style, so the drivers never have to take their hands off the steering wheel for either upshifts or downshifts, and it seems to have gotten praise all around from the drivers.
It does. They certainly like this modern system. Some of the drivers, though, they prefer the old style where they take the hand off the wheel and proper proper hand lever, so to speak, to shift with the cars. But most of the drivers, they're getting on with it just fine. Paul Tracy in particular, I don't think he's ever driven a paddle shift car before in actual fact. So he's took a little bit of getting used to, but obviously not much. He was fastest of all on Friday. Yesterday in final qualifying, PT didn't quite get it together. There's a problem there. I think that must be for Simon Pagenaud there, but slow out of one of those section of corners that around the Golden Nugget Hotel, I believe.
And he's got Neil Yanni right behind him. We got a bit of a queue forming up behind him. Sebastian Bourdais in there, and who else is back there? Catherine Legg is back there. So everybody's kind of queuing up behind him. Looks like he had a bit of a bobble, but he seems to still be up to relative pace. So hopefully he can keep the pace up. If the move's going to be done, it'll probably be coming out of this tunnel, heading into the first corner if they can get a good draft off him.
Yeah, of course, they still have the Cosworth power to pass this year. 60 seconds worth on this racetrack, and you use about 18 seconds. Neil Yanni, we believe, is using it, and there is, you can see, well, you can't see from that angle, but he was using it because it shows up on our screen here in timing and scoring, and you see he's able to maintain his advantage there over Sebastian Bourdais. That the battle for 10th and 11th.
That was fantastically done because Sebastian had a much better run out of that chicane than Neil Yanni did. Had the draft, Yanni saw it and used the push to pass as a defensive mechanism rather than on the offense. Sebastian decided to save his and did not get the position on the black tires. He'll be running good, consistent laps for the rest of this race. He will be moving up, Jeremy.
Vegas. So now we've got 10 laps in the books out of a 1 hour and 45-minute race, and there is our pole sitter, Will Power. Just amazing. He has been stunning for this weekend. He came in here brimming with confidence. You'll remember the end of last season, he won the pole in his home race in Surfers Paradise, led the opening stages, was punted out by Sebastian Bourdais, came back from that, and he was finished. He's got his first, I should say, podium finish in Mexico City. So his confidence was high going into the off-season. He really likes this new DPO1 chassis. He was very good in testing, and he came here, struggled a little bit on Friday, but only because he had a few mechanical issues with the car and couldn't really get a clear lap in. But yesterday in qualifying, stunning, and there a brilliant pass of Paul Tracy, and now in the lead once more.
Yeah, Will Power's just at the fastest lap of the race, obviously setting a blistering pace, but second fastest right now, Jeremy, his teammate, rookie Simon Pagenaud, doing a very good job on his Champ Car debut.
Well, that is impressive. Neil Mickerite telling Paul Tracy
is time of his life, and I'll tell you why. We talked about the fact that he is in his hometown, but when he was the provisional pole winner on Friday, he said that he loves street courses, and the first 3 races of the year are in the streets. Las Vegas, then we go to Long Beach, and then Houston. He says this race will be a big barometer of how dominant he can be this year.
So there we are now, Will Power just edging away a little bit from Paul Tracy, but as I was saying, Neil Mickerite on the radio to PT saying, don't worry about it, there's a long, long way to go, and indeed there is. Right now, 20 minutes at least in this race, but you can see that Will Power is edging away just a little bit, and both of those two have pulled out about a couple of seconds over Alex Tagliani, driving, as I said, for that new R Sport team, amalgamation of Blue Sport and Rocket Sports. Yes, Alex Tagliani back with Paul Gentilozzi, with whom, of course, he scored his first Champ Car win 3 years ago. Bruno Junquier now still in 4th place for Dale Coyne Racing, and Robert Dornbosch. Dan Clark, the team boss of Robert Dornbosch, the 2 Minardi Team USA cars running 5th and 6th. And for Dan, that's a brilliant effort. Here, though, farther back down the field is Mario Dominguez under all sorts of pressure.
Well, 3 cars wide into that corner. That was a bold move from Neil Yanni, and it's kind of mixed things up now as the cars are going into this tight technical section. Sebastian Bourdais in the mix. Justin Wilson trying to find a way by Simon Pagenaud.
I think Justin might be struggling a little bit. He's certainly slipped back quite a long way, hasn't he, James? And he's right in the thick of that action. And he, of course, is still on the red tyres, as are most of these guys. And there is Sebastian Bourdais. He had that puncture early on. And again, we talked about it. It seems to be playing into his hands. He's running very, very well and consistently now in the McDonald's car and up inside, well inside the top 10. Let's have a replay here. That's Dominguez out front. On the right of the screen is Wilson. On the left of the screen, that is Neil Jani making that move cleanly down the inside into turn 4.
Frankly, if I was Tony Cottman, I'd be giving Mario Dominguez a penalty for blocking him. He was driving right down the middle of the racetrack, and it's a no deviation from the racing line here. Oh, this could be why, though. If he was alongside Justin Wilson, this angle doesn't make it the best. Hard to tell there, but certainly when they were entering the corner, Mario was right in the middle, so we'd have to see a little bit further down that straightaway. Oh, and Justin Wilson has got, or sorry, Sebastian Bourdais has got by Justin Wilson.
Yeah, and Sebastian Bourdais is the man on the move. He's now up into 10th place. That would be Simon Pagenaud will be ahead of him there. The yellow flag's being waved. Right now it's just a local yellow. It's turn 3. We are here's somebody there, and that's one of the Aussie Jet cars. So it's either Dan Clark or Robert Dornbush. We'll have to wait and see who that is.